So, so welcome, welcome everyone, and we're going to try to keep this nice and brief. Kevin, our booster president, is with us, and I will post this to our YouTube channel as soon as we're finished today. So we just kind of a short agenda of what we're going to just cover tonight. For those of you who haven't heard, the graduation date was announced for June 6th at 9. It's a pretty late graduation, but that is good to know because that kind of helps us plan our end of year. Immediately, I know Kevin's going to talk about volunteers for tickets and concessions for upcoming events. The most immediate would be next week. We have a student-directed playwright festival in our black box. Mr. Castillo just hung a bunch of beautiful new LED lights in our black box today. So it's going to be, if you've never been to that space, it's going to be really nice, but there's limited tickets. There's only 60 seats in the black box. So if you have a student in that production, we're just encouraging you to buy your tickets through OSP. They're available as of today. And they will cap that at 60 tickets. So as soon as that we're sold out, that's it, because there's just a capacity for that room. It's the same program each night. So either night, you can attend either night and see the performances. And then we'll also be discussing the end of the year showcase, senior night. The date is still TBD. We had it scheduled for May 25th, but since Mr. Castillo cannot attend, since he's getting married, we're trying to switch with the medical academy, but we have not heard back from them yet. So we're really working hard to get that date switched. Worst comes to worst, we'll have to do it without him, since it's the auditorium is just booked solid. But we will let the students know as soon as we can, and for you guys as well, that everyone will perform in that, but it's a night to honor our seniors specifically. The theme is Cuda Cabaret. So we've just chosen that. Our seniors just chose the theme this week. So that's something to look forward to. Again, that date will come very soon. And of course, we have our wonderful musical coming up, April 20th and 21st. There's 3 o'clock and 6 o'clock shows both nights. A reminder that your students, VPA students, are required to attend at least one performance. Their tickets are free for one of the performances, but we do encourage you all to come out and support. And anyone who's interested, we will be selling ads again for our playbill. If you saw the Lysistrata playbill, we try to do a very nice playbill, and that's one way we can create such a nice playbill is to sell the ads. So if you want to send a shout out, whether it's to a senior or to another student, go ahead and get those in. I know Kevin emailed the form out, but I'm sure he'll be doing that again soon. And of course, we'll need volunteers for that. We'll talk about chocolate sales, of course, our end of the year banquet, which we've not had in 2 years. So it's very exciting. The thespian induction, which is for new thespians and graduating thespians, meaning they've, moving up in rank based on each year. There's certain rankings. And then of course, we gotta have a booster board for next year. Kevin has been fabulous this year and been doing a lot, on his own, because there's been a lot of transition this year. So I know he's looking for some good helpers and people that can help him out for next year. So that's sort of the agenda. So I'm going to turn it over to Kevin now, and I'll just keep sharing my screen.
Thank you, Ms. Sabine. Everybody hear me? We're good? Okay, excellent. My apologies. I got stuck a little late at work, so I am en route now back to the casa, but I will do the best I can. Thank you guys for joining. And as you heard Ms. Sabina say, we've got a few key events coming up that we're going to need some help with. We'll start off with the closest, which is next week. Ms. Sabina, correct me, there's 2 different show dates, correct?
Yes, so it's yes, April 6th and 7th. Both shows are at 6 o'clock. And again, that's up in our black box theater. So if you've never been up to that space, if you volunteer to do concessions and tickets, it will be upstairs. So slightly different than other venues.
Right, it's real simple. Just to go up the stairs where our current concessions is held. And as you get to the top of the stairs, make a left, and the black box is the first double doors on the right. And what we're looking to do is sort of have like not necessarily a mini concessions. We'll have concessions we normally have. We'll just set up some tables. So we're going to need a few volunteers for that for each night, and a couple volunteers, 2 or 3 volunteers for ticket sales. You think, Miss Sabino, or is
Yeah,
probably
I would say at least just one person per night is probably fine, since most of the sales I think will be done through OSP since there's such a limited capacity.
gotcha. Okay, so 2 to 3 concession sales parent volunteers and 1 ticket volunteer. So what we'll do is we'll just bring a couple of tables, folding tables up there, and our refrigerator and our concessions cabinet are on wheels. We'll just I'll get my buddy Mr. Abisi to unlock the elevator for us, and he will, and then that way we can just wheel that stuff over from room 138. So if we can have some volunteers step up for that, you can call me, text me, email me, send an email to our drama troupe email, and we'll get that those spots filled in the first come first serve. Second thing that was mentioned are the shows coming up. And I apologize, I'm driving, but those dates I think are posted right there. And please, I will send out the playbill ad form again, but what a fabulous job that last playbill was. And for those of you with kids in the show, I mean, I have some from 2010 from middle school when my daughter was in drama. They're great keepsakes. It's a great way to support the program, and they're just so well done. Thank you, teachers and students who are involved with that. So keep an eye out. I'll send an email out again tomorrow with the deadlines for that in the ad form attached. Another thing, our world famous chocolates fundraiser. We're about 50% sold only. And we only ordered 100 boxes. We might be 60%, I gotta see. But we still have quite a bit of chocolate left to sell. So please, anybody that still has a sweet tooth going on, buy some chocolates. If you have events that are coming up, like outside sporting events with your children, family reunions, I don't know, anything that you can think of, workplace that is over the sugar rush from 2 weeks ago. Let's try to sell those chocolates. Third thing, the
Banquet?
I'm sorry, the banquet's a fourth. There was one other thing I had. Okay. Some of you didn't have kids in the show, but this last show we did, Lysistrata. Did I pronounce it right?
Lysistrata.
Lysistrata. Sorry. I'm still in work mode. We have only 2 or 3 orders for those t-shirts. And I apologize to any of the parents that have made those orders, but if we don't get at least 20 orders, it really, we can't place the order because it's not enough to cover the silk screen, the cost of the silk screen. Excuse me. So I'm going to send another email out for that as well. But look, if there's generally no interest, then I'll take it off the board. I'll refund those parents. But I sure hate to tell the handful of families that one of those t-shirts we can't do them because we didn't have enough interest. And we tried to keep the price point as low as we possibly could. That's why I can't order the t-shirts unless we have a minimum quantity. I think it's 30, but even if we had 20, I would cover the difference. Fourth item is the banquet. And I'm super excited about the banquet because to me, that's like one of the, it's our time to say thank you and goodbye, especially to the seniors. It's our time to really get together and let loose for the kids to get together and enjoy, their accomplishments throughout the year. And it's something that we haven't been able to do for the last 2 years. To me, I've probably stayed as involved as I have. It's like the fruit at the end of the season for me, the year-end banquet. I just, whether even if I don't get to go to it, just that the kids get to have this this event is it's like a drama prom, you know. And so we really want to make this as special as we can. I know we don't have a whole lot of time to prepare, and we don't have a huge budget, but we, you know, we're going to have to sell tickets. But we usually try to do through the booster is help cover some of the items that you know, a portion of the student gifts. We try to give gifts to the seniors. Um, and we're going to shoot out some ideas regarding that as well. Ms. Sabina came up with a great idea of keychains. So we don't really have time to fundraise for some of this stuff. We're going to have to think outside the box, but we want to do something special for our seniors. We want to make sure we can have the banquet in a decent venue. And one of our moms has gone through the trouble of going and finding some venues that seem to be available, but we need to come together and decide on a date, decide on a 2 or 3 date option, and then reach out to the venues that are within a price range ticket wise that we feel is comfortable. You know, obviously, you know, $65, $75 a ticket is a little too high end. And I think it's, you know, too much. It's too nice a venue, you know, to be considering, at least this year. But we've paid, and I really don't know what their price points are now because it's been a couple years. I'm sure the banquet industry is kind of reeling like many industries are. And so their prices have probably gone up. So where we used to pay between $25 and $35 a head, maybe more than that now. So 2 topics I want to really sort of try to pin down tonight are dates, you know, 3 date options, and what we feel comfortable with as a price point for the tickets per head. Anybody want to chime in there?
There was a question also, Kevin, just based on the slide, it says it's not for parents, it's for students. I just wanted to answer that. So it's not that we need chaperones. Obviously, like besides the planning, we will also need chaperones where we require 10 for every 10 students, or I think it's actually 15 students, we need a chaperone. So we will need parents to attend. It's just, what I'm saying is we have 110 VPA drama students. So just for size of venue, if we open it up to parents, to just all parents to come, it just gets too out of, like, it's just too big of we're looking for too big of a space. So
right.
When we're looking for a space, and correct me if I'm wrong, Kevin, I think we're shooting to quote for about 125 people. That's the size space we're looking. So it's, you know, all of the students plus, you know, about 10 or 12 chaperones to make sure that everything is covered. So for those of you that maybe are willing to call around and ask about availability, that's what we're looking at, about 120 to 125 attendees. If we have extra tickets, obviously we can open them up to parents, but it's just, you know, for us, it just we have so many students that the venues, it limits us if we open it up to parents. And then just to clarify, we also still do have a senior night where the seniors will receive awards. They're going to be performances. This banquet is more for the kids. It's more, I mean, it's there for them to dance and, you know, all that kind of stuff. On senior night, we have the roast of the seniors, they perform, they get to, you know, get their awards and things. So if you're a senior parent and you're worried about that, we will still be doing that on that separate night. So to just kind of to alleviate some of that worry. So sorry, go ahead, Kevin.
Right. So I apologize. I am just stuck in traffic way longer than I expected. You had sent an email with some prospective date choices. Did you make that a PowerPoint too, or can we verbalize that? So
Yes.
have some
Okay. So
dates
yeah, I had just sent that to you because there was kind of a lot of there's sort of a lot of options, but I can read. So looking at the school calendar and also looking at, you know, our calendar for shows, some of the possible dates are Thursday, the 26th. So this is all of May into June. We try to keep the banquet as late as possible because we also still will have the showcase night, the senior night. So the banquet is usually the last thing on our, bill. So the 26th of May is a possibility. The third, that is a Thursday. The 31st of May is a possibility, which is a Tuesday. Tuesday, June 1st. Wednesday, June 2nd, Thursday, June 3rd. So normally, again, Kevin, correct me if I'm wrong, that, they're in the evening. So these are not during school times. This is in the evening, sometimes starting at 6 or 6:30, we can be flexible with the venue depending on the hour, just, how many hours package that we receive or that they're quoting us for. But those are some possible dates if when we're looking at when there's not other either senior events on the school calendar or our events that we need the students to participate in. And I can type in the chat.
Okay, perfect. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dates to choose from there. If anybody knows of any other, major conflicting events that are going on during these 5 dates, please speak up, let us know. Because what we'll do is we'll call these venues and see what their options are for these dates. The other issue with the venues is because this is essentially a school sanctioned event in that there are awards given, it's not a booster hosted event. It's a booster assisted event. But in saying that, that means we cannot pay for the venue. It has to go through the school account. So we have to get, quotes, contracts, we have to have all our ducks in a row with these venues. And they also have to comply with the school board rules. And they do not, like some people, in the middle school arena, we had hosted our banquets at some of the churches that had halls available.
We might have lost him. I think he's getting out of his car. So just to piggyback on what Kevin's saying, usually the venues, the price for the venue when you're calling usually includes, obviously the space,
something like that.
The food. Oh, sorry, Kevin, I think you cut out.
Can you hear me still?
Yeah, now we can again.
Okay, sorry about that. And most of these banquet halls supply most everything we need. If we have to get a DJ, if they don't have a DJ or we want to use our own and they allow it, then the booster can cover that. Catering almost always goes through the banquet hall, and it's just easier that way anyway. So, if somebody did have a venue suggestion that did not have catering built in, we can look at that. But at the high school level, all of the banquets that I've been involved with have been caterer included, food included. So, some of the outside items we can bring in are like a photo booth, the DJ. Some banquet halls require you use their DJ, and sometimes they're more money than somebody you may know, but it's contracted through the banquet hall. So I wouldn't worry too much about stuff like that, as long as the banquet halls the venues we're looking at have those available. We'll use as full a package as possible. And what we'll do as a booster is, handle the outside things like decorations and student gifts and stuff like that on a separate scale. I think we would probably need to handle student gifts through the booster anyway. Is that correct, Ms. Sabana?
Yes. So if there's anything like, again, in the past, the boosters have done different things. They've done, again, during COVID, they did the yard signs. They've done, different, they did a drone video of them with their cap and gown one year. So it just depends what as senior parents you think they'd like. I saw this I had a friend, a drama teacher friend that did this for her alumni, which was, again, we can gift it to them for the booster, or we can have senior parents that can purchase it for a small price for the seniors that would want it. It's like a keepsake keychain that basically will get them in, it'll say Coral Reef Drama class of, 2022 with as a ticket with, a Coral Reef High Auditorium, and it will get them in to any show in the future, one ticket for free, kind of. That's the idea, is that then they can come back to see shows for free, however, if they're ever back in town. It's also to keep fostering the idea of, a family, a drama family, as they go to college, that we hope they come back and support their troupe. It just was an idea. It doesn't have to be the senior gift, but just wanted to bring it up because I thought it was kind of a cool concept. So again, just something that I mentioned to Kevin, but the gifts can be, something as simple as maybe a yard sign, or maybe you guys do a group, pay to do a group picture of them at some point, or, you guys probably know more than me. I haven't been here that long, Kevin, so.
Yeah, I actually really like this keychain idea. And I apologize if I didn't make clear of this. I'm calling it student gifts, but yes, parents, you are paying for them in some way, shape, form, or fashion, whether it be through our fundraising. If we raise enough money, look, the purpose of the booster is to support the teachers in whatever financial and physical way we can. And, it's been the first year coming out of, our issues with this pandemic have been a recovery year for everybody. So our fundraising hasn't been what it normally is. And although we're not out of money, we are not healthy enough to just write $1,000 check for gifts. So we would need to put this out there as a fundraiser / this is gifts for our students, in some means, whether we just say, all right, here's the order form for these keychains or bracelets or whatever they may be. This particular one is a keychain. Or if we, buy another load of chocolate and sell that for, to try to, make that money available to purchase these items. At this point in time, I think it's probably safest just to say, look, here's our order form. Let's order this for our kids, and let it, be booster. The booster club is all you parents. So, I know some parents might be thinking, well, I mean, if I'm buying my kid a keychain, I'm going to buy my kid a keychain. Why am I going to let the booster give it to him? Well, it's not really the booster, it's all of us. And so I want to say again, I really, really like this keychain idea, especially because it supports the, the concept of alumni and connection. And, this next journey is going to be, I've got 2 that are in that next journey now, and one that would have absolutely loved to have a keychain got her a ticket to a show. But it's a really neat idea. I'd like other parents to maybe input on that.
I think the Shepherds raised their hand. Do you have something you guys want to comment, question?
Yeah, with 2 things. I think June 2nd might be preferable just for sake of having more time to plan. It's after Memorial Day, since there's probably lots of events going on and people are planning events or something for their Memorial Day weekend. We might have some more wiggle room by planning for Thursday the 2nd. So that's just my 2 cents on that.
Okay.
And then as a fundraiser as well, when Bill and I were at Gables for our booster, we had one of our booster parents, she was a publisher. I'm not sure if we have anyone with that kind of talent within our cadre of boosters, but what she did as a fundraiser for the seniors, she created a picture collage of pictures taken during marching season, pictures taken during solo and ensemble. And so the picture collage, you had their senior picture, whatever picture in the center, pictures throughout the year, and then they sold it. Back then it was for $25. So that's something where it's picture collage of what they've done over the years. It's not something that's saved on their camera roll on their phone, because you don't know when they actually have time to print those pictures, if they even print those pictures anymore. But that's something that, I still have mine. The booster president created one for me and Bill when for a couple of seasons. So I have one in my office, and it's nice to be able to certainly gesture towards that. So another idea as well. I think the keychains work well too, but I don't know if anyone has that kind of talent within our boosters currently.
That's an excellent idea too. And that, in fact, we did that in the middle school 1 year. Of course, at that time we had a professional photographer that was on the board. But yeah, parents, if does anybody know, if no one here in the Zoom meeting has that capability and that talent and skill, if you know someone that does, please reach out and let us know. That is and I'll say this, if what is your child? What grade?
10.
10th. If that doesn't work out this year, I would say that's a great idea to get a jump on for next year. In fact, we used to have a position on the board called the historian position, which the Thespian Club does too. And in high school, they're much more involved than in middle school. But basically, that position was to record events throughout the year, and to have those pictures and little video clips, and so we want to get back to that for sure. And that might be something, I don't know how much time you have, but it might be something to consider looking into for beginning of next year. And so that way we have, we're not rushing to try to grab, and we're so close to the end of the school year right now. My only concern with that idea would be that, do we have time, to gather the pictures that will make it a quality collage?
Yeah, absolutely. And even if you want to entertain the idea for this year, it could be just of, the Putnam, if they just want to have a picture collage of Putnam, or a picture collage of when they went to state festival, or, but I definitely, I agree to have that kind of, repertoire of pictures. Certainly having a historian to be able to take clips and pictures throughout the year. Yeah, definitely.
And actually, and the parent that heads that position really is just there to collect them and then store them. The trick, I know there's there's enough pictures out there now. The trick would be to get everybody to send them in time. What I wouldn't want is to have one senior with 2 pictures and then somebody with 50.
I'm just going to speak to this really quickly too, just because if you're not familiar, so we also do have a tradition where on senior night, which is not the banquet, someone in the senior class usually puts together a picture of each senior, like from baby to graduation photo. And we included it in our broadcast last year virtually, but we usually, use a projection screen or something and include that in our senior night. But I understand like something, so we could use the same pictures to make a collage if that happens. Also, we do have a student that's on actually our troop president, Kate Chance, who just said maybe we should, survey the seniors about the date too. I know, it's close to graduation for them. I think the only issue, in terms of just flexibility, I know, and Kate, if you want to chime in, but is that we don't have a lot of dates before that, because Mr. C is out the 18th through the 25th or 26th. So, we're kind of limited on dates. So even though it's going to be close to graduation, there's not a whole lot of flexibility there. But we can definitely discuss that tomorrow, Kay. But if when we're calling, I think maybe getting also quotes for different nights too. I know sometimes it's different prices for different nights of the week. So that's something else to consider.
Okay. Yeah, I think we've had the banquet we've had it on a Tuesday, we've had it on a Friday, on a Saturday. But I like the idea of maybe sending out to and doing a poll amongst the seniors might be a good idea.
Yeah, we can talk about that tomorrow. And Kate, also maybe we can include the idea of what they might want as a gift, or that might give you guys some ideas. I can pass it along to you, Kevin, whatever the seniors come up with. So it's definitely something that we can do in class tomorrow.
Okay. Okay.
I'm going to move on just to, for sake of time, just about the thespian induction, because I know there's a lot of underclassmen parents here too. So induction includes all grades. This is where we give out their, if they're being inducted into the troop, they have to have a minimum of 20 points. They receive a certificate. We also give our graduating seniors, will get their certificates. And then on senior night, we give them their gifts. If they make best thespian, the ranking of thespians that they're going to be graduating with, and their cords and all that. But we also like to do it usually like the day after we have the banquet. It was nice because we can reuse some of the decorations. Like if there's a balloon arch for, banquet, we can reuse it in the classroom the next day. That's an in-class activity that we do. The kids get dressed up for school and we do it in their classes. So that's what we did last year, and that worked really well. So again, it just to shave time off of doing that, for example, at the banquet, or doing it at a different night. We separate the events because it just allows for time for each thing. So if those of you who have underclassmen students or upperclassmen, that is another event that we'll be hosting. The booster is not really responsible for anything for that, other than we would reuse decorations from the banquet. And then last year, I know they were kind enough to provide like a snack for the kids. I think they got like cake pops or something for everyone, which was really nice because it kind of makes the day, just to be a little bit special that day. So if anyone has connections for like confectionery or like a cupcake or something that we could get for anyone that's going to be part of that process, that would be nice. And that's just, again, another event that's, for the culmination of the year. And then I don't know if we want to touch on the board, if you want to, or you can send this out. I just wanted to, I put it in here just because we're getting close to the end for people to start thinking about positions possibly for next year. Kevin, do you want to talk about this, or do you want to wait?
Yeah, we can we can definitely brief on this. This year has been our, get back into the saddle year. I mean, we're trying to find the new normal, and so and I think we've done well, considering that that's not an easy process. But I really would like to see us be a little more structured next year, and I want to make that a goal of mine, to give that structure, put that structure out there, so that we can kind of choose a post. The one thing I don't want to do is make anyone feel like they can't be involved. The purpose of these posts, remember, we're a booster, we're not a PTA. There's a lot of different structure and rules there. Titles don't really mean that much to me. I do anything for this. I don't need the title president, but it helps to sort of give a little bit of direction into what we're looking for as far as volunteer time. And so I'm gonna, what you see here, we're probably gonna add to that. I don't see the historian on here. So there may be a little bit added to this, but that's the bulk of what our positions are. And just because you take one of those positions doesn't mean you're going to be solely, alone handling it. So except for treasurer, which I've been the treasurer the whole time. That's the only, treasurer and secretary are probably the two busiest. And so, if you feel like one of those posts are up your alley and you have the time for it, especially secretary, because right now I'm doing president, secretary, and treasurer. So I could use some help there for sure next year. And the rest of those posts, and the ones that I'll add, like the historian post, these kids do a lot. It's not like middle school where the parent involvement is more needed. These kids are a lot more capable by high school. But I would love to see us be a little bit more connected in that, you know, we take a post we know we can be available for and um, and be able to run with it. So please, you know, whoever is interested, reach out to me. My cell number is published, my emails. You can call me anytime. Listen, if I'm busy, I'll just leave a message or shoot me a text and I will get back to you. So make sure you get my information down and reach out anytime you can. The you know, the biggest and busiest times are, you know, beginning and the end of a fundraiser and show dates. Is probably our busiest times. We're not you know, we're not expecting a part-time job type scenario. And we have, you know, again, for not being and I take responsibility, you know, responsibility for it, for not being as organized as we have been in the past. This year coming back in, we've done pretty well. We really have. And I really thank everybody that's stepped up and volunteered. And, you know, some parents have had more time than others, and that's fine. There's times we have opportunity, and sometimes, you know, our first and foremost priority is to feed ourselves and our families. And, you know, that's understood here. But we want everybody to feel, you know, welcome in this booster. You know, it's not a booster board, it's a booster club, and everybody's a member. So I want to try to recreate some energy here and get us a little bit more involved, understanding that our kids don't want us involved, most of them anyway, because they're high schoolers now. And but there's things that we do need to do to support them. And I love meeting the parents. You guys are awesome, and we got an awesome group of kids. I couldn't be happier. The village my kids have grown up in and are growing up in. So please keep that in mind. So
Yeah, someone in the chat, Kevin asked if we could resend the links to the Cash App if people want to sell more chocolates. Again, that's you can Cash App in the front and you get that money back because you get to keep the money from the sales. Yes, we can just send another email tonight, Kevin, or
absolutely.
Great.
Yeah, I will. I'll forward that email out. And if somebody's not getting our emails, obviously you've got those of you that are here are getting the email, or you wouldn't have known about it. But if you know of a family that's not getting emails, or you want to add a family member or a spouse, just email dramatroop5744@gmail and send the grade and the kid's name, and I'll make sure they're added into that freshman, sophomore, junior, senior group. We'll do that right away. So any other questions?
So Kevin, if people want to help with banquet or something, should they just email you or call you, send you a text?
Absolutely. You know, and do both. Send in emails, because I'm going to save that email into a volunteering category so that I can go back to it later, and we can, you know, reach out and start asking for what we need. What I really would like to put together is a banquet chair. 2, 3 or 4 parents that would like to step up and take control of researching the venue, finding the venue, coordinating the dates, you know, helping come up with a design scheme, which Ms. Sabino, you'll be involved with, or you know, we'll get, you know, whether we want to play it off of what the senior night is or the last show. You know, we've done that in the past. And sometimes, you know, it works out good in those scenarios that we can reuse decorations, or repurpose decorations. But if we had 3 or 4 parents that could step up and handle that, man, we can get that ball rolling right away. And that's pretty imperative because we're running out of time quick, and those venues fill up quick. Excuse me.
Yeah,
So
I have Landon's mom. I have that said she'd like to volunteer, and also, you know, someone is asking if they can send money for the chocolates, even though they don't want to take the chocolates. You know, is that possible? And you know,
That's
so,
also me.
oh, yes, okay.
I can't sell chocolates and Girl Scout cookies and stuff
Yeah.
for myself. I'm just,
That
I'd rather
makes-
give the money.
Well, Kevin, I'll let you speak to that.
Yeah, thank you so much. And just so everybody knows, the Caught in the Act Inc. Booster Club will never say no to your money. And so, yes, thank you. And we understand that it's not possible, or it's not feasible, or it's not practical sometimes to sell things. That's why we really haven't. What is this? Is our only physical sales this year, isn't it? I don't think we've sold anything else. You know, sometimes, especially in the middle school arena and the elementary school arena, you got frozen cookie dough, you got Yankee candles, you got magazines you never read, you got all these things coming at you, and you end up with a house full of junk, and you feel like you I know I always felt like, let me just write you a check. And so that's absolutely, we try to make the fundraisers as functional as possible and as minimal product as possible, because of that. And that's been our input from beginning. So yes, absolutely. If it, and highlighting on that, and one of the things that's really, we have so few memberships this year. Um, I don't want to let that program go, but I would like to just start putting out the feelers out there for those who want to stay on the board or join the board. I want to make membership fun. I want to make it attractive, and I want to make it so that it replaces the extra. You know, we're still going to do at least one physical fundraiser, one product fundraiser, but I don't want to have to do 3 or 4. And membership allows us to eliminate that. And it also keeps us a little more connected, I feel. And so I would love input on putting together a membership program, whether, you know, what do we add? A t-shirt, we add tickets. I mean, there's different formats we can use, that make membership a little more intriguing to the parent. So that's food for thought also. So we have, is there anybody else that has any questions, comments?
I have a question or a thought, maybe not for this year, but just for the following year, since we're just talking about fundraisers. When we, and I'm sorry, I keep bringing up Coral Gables Senior because that's where we were for such a long period of
No
time.
problem.
And
Great school.
yeah, I think so too. Just thinking of one of the things that we did as far as for fundraising, we had a relationship first with the Orange Bowl back when University of Miami was at the Orange Bowl, and then after that over to Joe Robbie Stadium, which I don't know what the actual name is now.
Hard Rock.
Hard Rock, yes. Where we would work the concessions and we would get a percentage of the concessions there. It is hard work. Bill and I have done it, but it really helps. And the money that is made during those games, whether it's for professional, college, soccer, the money that's made during those concessions really knocks any of these other fundraisers out of the ballpark. Things like, you know, so we're not having to purchase candy, sell candy, those kinds of things.
Right. No, those are great. I've done a ton of those in the middle school arena and elementary. I'm sorry, what was your name again?
Visanta Shepherd.
Visanta.
Shepherd.
And this is our next year's fundraiser chair. Bill, do you second that nomination?
No.
I'm wrapping up my.
She's trying to finish her PhD this year.
Oh my goodness. Well, until dissertations are done, I think you're off. Yeah, you're off the hook.
Dissertation year. Next year is dissertation year.
But
Oh,
yeah,
boy.
these are just ideas certainly to share. They were successful with our booster when we had our booster program. And these are things.
Yeah, no, that's a great idea. So listen, you know, when we're going to probably be utilizing the Zoom meeting method, even though we're, you know, able to gather again, just because people can get involved that may not have been able to make a physical booster meeting. And this is why. So make sure that, you know, I understand you'll be busy, and that's excellent. Congratulations, by the way. So I'm writing this stuff down. We've looked into it before. What we really need is a parent who has access. You almost need somebody that's in with one of these establishments, and we have had in the past, and we may have now.
Mhm.
I had one of the heat coaches that were in our elementary school back decades ago.
Mhm.
And so we definitely are open to any of those ideas, and that's a fabulous idea. Thank you for that. Anybody else? I'm sorry. Was that all?
I think that's it. That's it on the agenda. I'll just second that. I had a parent that just messaged me that couldn't make it, but suggested that either at the end of this year, the beginning of next year, we host an in-person, like, get to know you parent, booster to help with what you mentioned, getting to know, getting drumming up involvement, and trying to get people there at that event, sign up for committees. So we have lists of people. So that just was communicated to me via text. So I just thought I'd pass it on. But other than that, I just say thank you to Kevin and also everyone else that has volunteered, everyone on this call I've seen around school. So thank you guys. And I will be posting this for anyone that missed the meeting on our YouTube channel. And please contact Kevin, volunteer. We have also some very active seniors that are willing to help find venues and help that committee once it's established. And I can give you the names of those seniors that are willing to do some of the legwork for, they obviously need parents, they need some supervision because a lot of these places won't talk to students directly, but they can help you to do planning or give input. So, the senior class hasn't had a lot of opportunity to do any of this stuff. So they are very excited and willing to help out any of the parents once we have established a committee, and I can act as a liaison to connect you to those seniors once you guys have a group together of parents.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you, everybody. Keep an eye out for the emails. Again, I will send out the ad form ordered for the playbill for this final show. We're not obviously having one for the showcase next week, but for the big show we will, and we want to support that. So I'll send that out in an email, and I'll send the reminders. I'll send the World's Finest Chocolate email out again with the payment options, and just a recap of what we've gone over tonight, and an email looking for banquet chairs. So thank you, everybody. We look forward to seeing you and hearing from you, and ending the year with a bang.
Thanks so much.
Thank you, Miss
everybody.
Sabina.
All right. Thanks, Kevin. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.